What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol AAPL for Apple Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. We talk about the stock regularly on the channel. The main thing to discuss in today's session, at least, is the bearish follow-through that we saw underneath the prior day's lows. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I would just say look at this chart in relationship to something like Tesla, something like Nvidia, Microsoft. A lot of those moves actually took back 2 days worth of price action. So this and this. Notice how Apple just kind of closed right on the open of Tuesday instead of closing firmly underneath the 2-day range. So to me, a little bit of relative strength, but again, don't get me wrong, it certainly was a bearish day out there inside of Apple. In terms of lower highs, right, we have this, and now we definitely have a lower set of highs, which, as we know, sets up the breakdown if we get an equal low at 168. Coming off of the lower high and testing it in short proximity of time does not bode well for 168 holding, and on the break, we would look for super support coming from prior resistance, kind of chopped in here, resistance, and then support coming into play with the dominant support trend line, 164.25. That would be the main downside target where you would start to reevaluate the chart and see if we can print hammer candles, see if we can come in for some sort of higher low double bottom, take the neckline out, takes us back higher. Some sort of pattern or structural element around 164.25 could be interesting for a long off of the pullback from ultimately new all-time highs. So that's what I'm watching to the downside in Apple off of the lower high. If it wants to support here, I would expect chop, noting that it would be trying to hold on for a higher set of lows in here, and we don't really have trend at that point, noting that we have the lower high, so it would really require some sort of break up and over 177.50, at least from the daily perspective, to get bullish once again, probably just looking for the top end of the range at 181. From the 30-minute perspective, what else are we seeing? Certainly we discussed in yesterday's video the potential for that to turn into a descending triangle flush point, and it certainly did break on today's session. 165 went. We clearly have a lower high. It's not even like the back test got us to 175, and then we closed weak. So all things considered, the outlook is not looking fantastic here inside of Apple. The downside does look more likely than some magical upside taking us closer to 175, but we'll have to see. The main level to watch out for from a scalper's perspective would be that dead cat bounce high. That's simply here at 174. Nice round number inside of Apple, which we know it likes. So bearish consolidation happens here. Breakdown's kind of imminent, taking us to 168. Reevaluate from the daily when and if we get there. If we do something like this and poke into 175, that's fine. That's a good first step, but ultimately we know that longs are only going to be favored up and over 177.50. So that's kind of patience to the upside. And again, day trade opportunities for sure. Don't get me wrong in there. You can do that. And that's really going to be it. Those are the levels I'll be watching here inside of Apple into the remainder of the week and early next week. Again, today's activity a little bit damaging here. We'll see what happens if we come into 168. That's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it today or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.